talk to myself a little cooler. So I feel like this video could get very emotional. Ugh. Ew, no, I hate sparkling water. I'm still gonna drink it though. Hey guys, it's Megan, and if you can't tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about something rather serious today. I know the title of the video is kind of dramatic, and I know people are probably gonna say like, oh, it's because Carl's rude to you, isn't it? And he hits you. I mean, kinda. Look at him. Look at him judging over there. So this video is going to be about why I would never have another pet chameleon, and I feel so bad saying that because it's so cute. Look at him sitting there, but there's a lot of reasons why, and I just feel like I'm gonna cry every time I start this video. I just spent like 2 hours doing my makeup and hair, bitch. Get it together. I gotta clean my face. As you can tell, I've been holding this in for a while, you guys. It's just coming out now. As you may or may not know, I mean, some people watching this may have never watched my videos before, but I've had Carl now, who's my panther chameleon, for almost an entire year. Or actually, no, sorry, over a year. I've shared him online, I've shared him on Instagram, I've shared him on TikTok. I even made a care guide video about them, which has reached like almost 300,000 views as I'm like filming this, which is crazy. Like, I never even imagined that many people would watch that video. I get a lot of messages now saying, Megan, I've got a chameleon because of you, or I'm thinking of getting one because of you. I don't think I'm a huge YouTuber or anything, but I've definitely influenced people. And this is gonna be a hard video. Just please bear with me, okay? I'm gonna get to the point of the video eventually. You know, in doing so and in sharing these videos of Carl, like, made people that have maybe not liked reptiles love Carl. Like, even my grandma has said, Megan, I don't like reptiles, but I must admit he is very cute. And that makes me so happy. That's all I wanted in sharing these videos. I just feel like I didn't really think about what impression that could give. Like, I feel like I've kind of romanticized having a chameleon in a way, and I feel like I haven't really been completely honest in how hard it is to take care of him. So I just want to make a disclaimer before I start that this video is just sharing like why my opinion has changed, because if you would have asked me 3 months ago, I wouldn't have said any of this. Obviously, I made a whole care guide about chameleons. Obviously, I felt like there was no problem having them as a pet. I just feel like this will complement the care guide video. What could happen, the studies and the facts behind what I'm saying, just to make your own opinion. This isn't to tell you that you shouldn't get a chameleon. Like, that's not my vibe. It's just gonna be a warning of what the exotic pet trade is like, and also just like the reality of having a chameleon. So I'm just gonna briefly talk about my experience with Carl, and then that'll lead to the other part. Carl is probably one of the most beautiful animals in the world, in my opinion. Just the fact that they can change the color of their skin, they have little mitten gloves to grab on branches, they have bones that glow in the dark, a tongue that shoots 2 times their body length, they have eyes that move independently from each other and see 360 degrees. So he could be looking at you and judging you while looking behind and judging me at the same time. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I was obsessed with chameleons, and I've always wanted one. So when me and Francesco decided to get Carl last year, it was like a no-brainer. At that point, I was volunteering at the reptile rescue for 8 months at that point. I worked with chameleons, veiled chameleons, panther chameleons, bearded dragons, uromastyx, all types of snakes, carpet pythons, anacondas, boa constrictor. So I had some experience with reptiles, and then I bought Waffles, who's my ball python, who's kind of unknown on this channel. Like, I just felt like, you know, I had experience at the reptile rescue, I had experience with Waffles. I was like, how hard can a chameleon be? Like, yeah, they're high maintenance, but I've done it, and I just feel like it'll be fine. Like, I remember when we were at the store, the breeder was saying, oh yeah, like, you know, they're so easy. All you have to do is just spray them in the morning, spray them in the evening, and you don't even have to look at them. So the breeder said that, and I went home with Carl, and me and Francesco were feeling so confident. But little did I know that they are the hardest animal to take care of, like the hardest pet. And people will disagree with me and say, well, no, because the blah, blah, blah. No, they are the hardest animal to take care of. It's not because of the routine or like the husbandry, it's just the fact that they're not forgiving animals. Like, if you make a mistake with a dog, if you don't take your dog for enough walks and he starts getting overweight, like, he's not gonna die. He'll get overweight, but he's not gonna die.
Whereas a chameleon, if you get like one little tiny thing wrong, they'll get super sick and could die.
Just to give you an example, I was using these multivitamins. It has a panther chameleon on the front, same as him. And I noticed 2 months ago that Carl started getting like super weird symptoms. He started always having his one eye closed, and he also couldn't use his tongue, which is super concerning because that means, like, you know, it could be MBD, which is like a really bad thing that happens if you don't have the right UVB or enough calcium. After looking at like different forums and different websites, I found out that for panther chameleons, you could be using the wrong type of vitamin A. This has vitamin A in it, but it's in the form beta-carotene, so it's already pre-made. This is the type of vitamin A that's in all of our supplements, because when your body gets beta-carotene, it makes vitamin A as much as it needs, and then it flushes the rest out of your system. Whereas pre-formed vitamin A, which is vitamin A that's already been made, it could be toxic if you overdose on it. I found out that chameleons, there's like a thing going around where people believe like they can't use beta-carotene. So I had to buy like a brand new thing of vitamins, the ones that have pre-formed vitamin A, and he went back to normal like real quick. It took like a week and he was completely fine. But I just mean, like, how fucking specialized of care is that you could be using the wrong type of vitamin. Salty about that. So the reason behind that is because chameleons in the wild, they have such a small range. Like, if you look at the range of a panther chameleon, they're endemic to Madagascar, and they literally only have this short of a range. That is it.
Or what about this guy? This guy's the Bruchisia micra, and they only inhabit this tiny island off of Madagascar. How crazy is that?
So their environment has to be super specific. So yeah, I just didn't know the extent of how hard it was to take care of them. Like, I've gone through pretty much everything that you can probably go through with a chameleon. Like, I've had respiratory infections from a faulty light that broke, which was not cute. Like, that was so hard to take care of. Like, I had to inject him with a needle in his legs. I had to shove medicine down his throat. I've had to shove food down his throat. He's had fungal infections. I think the past year alone, we've almost spent like £1,000 on vet bills alone. That's not even including food, that's not including UVB lighting, that's not including the setup. Like, if you're passionate enough about chameleons, you can definitely take care of them. It's just a warning because I feel like I didn't know the extent of how difficult it was. But I also learned too that, like, I just definitely think that chameleons are a lot more intelligent than we think they are. Like, I literally thought chameleons were like dumb as rocks. Like, I know it sounds so bad, but I didn't really think highly of reptiles.
Okay, before like 99% of you click off, I do not mean that they're super smart or anything. I was just really surprised at how interactive they were and how they interact with their environment and seem very aware of everything that goes on. They're super curious. They watch TV with you. I mean, some do. Okay, this is gonna be a really small example, but like whenever I go near his tank, he gets excited because he knows I might take him out. Well, you wanna come out? No, Carl, no.
He has ways to communicate with you. So if he's really frustrated with something, he'll be like he doesn't open his mouth and he's not hissing at me, but he'll let me know like he's frustrated. So like if I'm bringing him by the window and he doesn't want to go there, he'll be like, and I know that because when I put him close, he'll try to get away. I'm just gonna sound like a crazy lady. I'm like the equivalent of a crazy cat lady at this point, but like chameleon. Like, the more that I have Carl, like the more I just feel guilty having him. Because, you know, I definitely do think, I just think it's so unfair that I have him as a pet. Like, I feel bad that he's stuck in this tank for the rest of his life. Like, he doesn't get to go out in the wild. He doesn't get to explore. Like, it makes me so sad, you guys. Every single day, all he wants to do is come out and just stare outside the window. When he comes out, he just runs to the window and he just sits there, and he could sit there for like hours. Another thing that I found super interesting too is like they recognize you. So they recognize that you're the one that takes care of them, you're the one that feeds them. You know, when we take him to the vets, he doesn't want to go in the vet. When people come over, he doesn't want to go on them. Doesn't want to be held by them. The only person besides me and Francesco is my granddad, which I thought was really cute. All animals love my granddad. My granddad hates animals, but they all love him. So the reason why I never really thought negatively about having chameleons as pets is because I'm like, you know what, most people don't experience this many problems with their pet chameleon. That's why I made my care guide video, because I wanted to help other people, because I went through so many problems. I wanted to make sure like people really had as much information as they could. And up until about 2.5 months ago, I'd say, is when I really started to change my thinking, because I came across this study by Janine E. Robinson, Freya A. I'll link it down below. So this was a study done in the UK. So the scientists, I think they're scientists, asked people at various reptile expos what type of pet they had and how long it lived for. And the thing that they were trying to see was like what percentage of different types of reptiles died after being brought home their first year. So this is what the study said. Overall, 3.6% of snakes, chelonians, which are like turtles, and lizards died within 1 year of acquisition, so 1 year of being brought home. Boas and pythons had the lowest reported mortality rates of 1.9%, and chameleons had the highest at 28.2%. 28.2% of chameleons die within their first year of being brought home. And to be honest, I'm not very surprised at that study. I think that if they would ask a wider range of people, I think actually that percentage would be a lot higher, because I've noticed this all the time, you guys. I go on Instagram and I just see these people posting pictures of their chameleons in like really bad enclosures, or they're showing obvious signs of being sick. I've even gone to zoos, and this one zoo had a chameleon and it looked like it had MBD. Like, I don't know if maybe they rescued it. Top reasons are probably respiratory infections. Like if you don't take care of the tank properly, you don't clean it down properly, or you get the wrong type of lighting, or the temperature is too low, they'll get a respiratory infection. If you have a glass tank, you're more likely to get one because of stagnant air. They have very delicate lungs. Another leading cause is dehydration. So chameleons don't recognize still water. They only recognize it if it's moving. So you need to have a little dripper. You can see right here. But that leads to kidney failure. So that's a leading cause of death in chameleons. And stress. I know that sounds really dumb because we joke about stress all the time, but like chameleons genuinely can die from stress. I just think that's also from people just not knowing general chameleon behavior. Like a chameleon does not want to cuddle you. It doesn't really want to be held. Like even Carl, I would say he's a very outgoing chameleon and he trusts me. When I go in there and I like work in his tank or I spray him, he wants to climb on me because he knows I'll bring him to the plant. So like he doesn't see me as a threat, but like I would never force that relationship on him if he didn't want it. I think panther chameleons are mostly like that anyways, but even with the panther chameleon, you could get one that doesn't want to be out, one that doesn't want anything to do with you, and you have to respect that. And I think people like don't really respect it. In the wild, they're completely solitary. They don't need to be around other chameleons. So I just think when people say things like, oh, I'm giving my chameleon love, or I cuddle my chameleon, or my chameleon falls asleep on me, chameleon gives me love bites, like it's not cute. Like it's not okay, and you're really making your chameleon suffer because of that. Like it is in so much stress that it's closing its eyes and falling asleep. Like a chameleon should not be doing any of that. The reason why this makes me upset is because I could have been part of that statistic too. You know, he's had a respiratory infection, fungal infections, and the only reason why I was able to catch it is because I've had experience with reptiles before, and I know that they don't really show signs that they're sick. They're not expressive. If they're in pain, you will not be able to see it until it's too late. Me and Francesco went through so many fights together. He would be like, Megan, why are we taking him to the vet? Like, he's completely fine. Look at him. He's moving around. He's walking around. He's fine. Stop freaking out. But every single time, I would be right. I'd be like, I told you. See, I knew he was sick. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I am genuinely scared. Just the fact that 28% of chameleons, 3 out of 10 chameleons, die within their first year of being brought home. The way it's going is very unsustainable. And I'm really worried about the future of chameleons in the wilds, because for every chameleon that dies in captivity, that empties another spot for another chameleon to take over. As oh my god, I'm gonna sound like such a hippie. I'm like someone who I never thought I would be. In this study, I'll link it down below, all 193 species of chameleons are now listed on the International Red List of Endangered Species. So out of the 193 species of chameleons in the wild, 11 are critically endangered, 39 are endangered, 22 are vulnerable, 35 are near threatened, 76 are least concern, and 10 are data deficient by the Red List. The biggest threat to wild chameleon populations is destruction and fragmentation of habitat, and taken for the pet trade or commercial use is considered the second biggest threat. So I didn't know this, you guys, but there are still people to this day, 2020, that want wild chameleons to diversify the gene pool for the captive chameleons that we would buy in a pet store from a breeder. The reason why that freaks me out is because there's actually not a lot of research done on wild chameleons. Like, it's really difficult. I tried the past 2 weeks to find information on chameleons in the wild and the population right now, but the only thing that I could find was from the IUCN website. So I just looked up panther chameleons, and the last time that was updated was 2011, so that was 9 years ago. So it's really hard to find what it's like right now. As well as getting wild chameleons, it's saying that anywhere from 10 to 50 or even 100% of these chameleons were killed in transit. Being taken from the wild, and they're also dying on their way of being brought to wherever they're supposed to go. So it's just, to me, it's so unsustainable. Like, the fact that people are even taking animals from the wild to this day is just crazy to me. I don't even know where Waffles is from. What if he was from the wild? I mean, I rescued Waffles, but like, yeah, it's just, there's not a lot of information about them in the wild. It's really hard to find updated data on what their population is like, and I just mean, it just really worries me, because if they're exporting chameleons, and you know, there's so many chameleons that are dying prematurely in captivity, opening spots for new ones, like, I just think it's a recipe for disaster. You know, I just want to keep this video up because I want people to know the reality of having one, and I want people to know the reality of the pet trade, and I want people to be aware of these things, because ignorance is bliss. Like, I didn't know these things. I bought Carl a year ago. I didn't know these things at all, but these things have been going on for a long time. But I just want to spread the message, and I actually wanted to start a petition because I think that chameleons should be regulated. You should be allowed to get a chameleon, but you need a license to have one. I think I should have a license to have a chameleon. I do not think that I should have been able to walk into a store and buy a chameleon. I think that I should have had to get a license or a permit or whatever you call it. I feel like people would agree with me. I think even people that have chameleons would agree that this would be a good idea. It would stop them going in the pet trade. It would stop them being in pet stores, which is probably the worst place for impulse buyers. It would probably reduce the rate of exports going from countries that have chameleons, because there wouldn't be a big demand for them. I'm gonna start a petition, you guys. I don't even think anyone's gonna sign it, but if you believe what I think, please sign it down below. If we can get 10,000 signatures, the Parliament of the UK has to talk about it. And if we get 100,000, they have to debate it. I don't know, I feel like it won't really go anywhere, but at least I can say I've tried. Anyways, I've blabbed on for so long. It's almost 7 o'clock. I started this video at 4. So I'm gonna go order myself some KFC because I need it right now. I feel very emotional. Okay, we're gonna say bye. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Vlogmas is next week, so so be prepared for that. But anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye. Oh, Carl, where are you trying to go? Where you going? You want to go by the window? Woohoo! Look at him. See, look, watch this, you guys. This is why I feel so sad. Look at how excited he gets. 1 second.